getting crazy right now because Octalysis is on a tear unlike anything we may have ever seen before. Dreadnought, they're coming out, they are dominant. Team Freedom, however, they are a long-standing roster. They were a BlizzCon representative last year. They have another chance. They find themselves down 0-2. They've got what it takes, but Octalysis might just have a little more right now, Dread.
Yeah, they have to get the reverse sweep, and right now with how games 1 and 2 look, it's hard to look at that and go, I think it's possible. You can look at that and I think you can say maybe a game, maybe even 2, but to be like all 3 in a row, this is going to be a huge moment for Team Freedom if they have the mental strength to be able to keep that together. But I think the biggest thing is just drafting and in-game play, like the execution of how they're coming with these strategies. Octalysis, they're not just winning when it comes to the draft. I feel like their gameplay, when they walk up to fights, they're clearly stating, we're just the better team on a lot of their initiations, and the results are backing that up.
We're going to see. Team Freedom, we know they can do it. When they've played in Week 5, it went all 5 games. We'll see if it goes there. Let's figure out where Battleground number 3 is going to be for Team Freedom. Dreadnought, we've seen Octalysis. They've had the map pick the first 2 times. Team Freedom, they gave up Battleground pick in game number 2. They will not do it here in game number 3, going to their favorite Battleground. Now that Sky Temple's off the board, this is their favorite. This is where they do their thing. They're going to get back in the series. This is their best chance.
BlizzCon life on the line. Bring it to Infernal Shrines. That is the strat here for Freedom. I don't think we're going to get the Gray Main and Nubarak. Even though that strategy works for them and has worked for them, I think it's very clear based off, again, 1 and 2, that you can't come in with this same go-to strategy. I do think mixing it up, though, and getting on home turf is definitely a good game plan. Again, when this series now, every game beyond this point is everything here for these teams.
See if they do go down that or whether they mix it up. One hero that was absent when we saw the Zul pick up, I thought maybe it was a time for a famed Zugrug Diablo. This is another great Diablo battleground. See if that comes in the bans. Genji just taken off across the board. As much as we've seen Genji get let through a little, or at least in towards that second ban, hasn't been the case. Team Freedom says, you know what about this Maiev? Justin, please no more.
Not going to have the Maiev, but we both know that is not the only trick in the bags of Octalysis, and definitely not there of Justin. What are we going to get in the second ban phase out from Octalysis? Having the opportunity to first pick the Medivh if it's let through. So instead, going to ban out this Abathur. We'll see if Freedom are afraid of that. They are. Pretty standard when looking at those bans.
Tyrande, Whitemane, Diablo, all heroes let through here. If we look at Infernal Shrines, Zul, if we see the Tyrande, could potentially go into that towards the second part. Tyrande, we've seen it paired with that Zul. See if we get it again. This is also a map where we've seen Octalysis Dreadnought. It was when they had a Genji. They ran it with the Uther in terms of that double support, Justin on that second support in that not-so-tank role, but finds himself on the front line all the time, Uther rolled.
I like it. I like it.
I got you?
Yeah, you got it. It's still better than double Warrior. Or Warrior tank, or Warrior Uther there. Here we go, though, out from Octalysis. Now that we got the Whitemane pickup on the other side, what are we going to have them fall into here with the Urel in the off lane, still with the Zul, as you pointed out, the pairing with the Tyrande, but then backing it with the Deckard. I find that really interesting here. Also, based off of that theory I was talking about a little bit with the Deckard ban in game number 1, I think that might bring it to light, knowing that Octalysis enjoy Deckard Tyrande, though I feel like out of the double support, one of the lower end ones, comparative.
The bone armor that we see picked up by Justin has been the percent-based damage when it explodes, when it expires around you. If you want to keep somebody in place, I've got a Zul root, I've got a Deckard root, I've got a Tyrande stun. You're not going anywhere if I'm fully executed. And what we've seen from Octalysis Dreadnought, there's no hiccups in what they're doing. It is full blast. Zeratul will be the ban out by Octalysis. Team Freedom, see if we do go into that Anu Gray Main or whether they do switch it up here.
The Zeratul ban is a very, very curious ban as well, because it shows in the off-lane side roll that they're likely not going to want to deal with somebody that has a poor mismatch into the Zera, where normally I would expect something like a Junkrat to be that ban. So if that's the case, and that's the fear, normally if I'm Freedom, I'd look for high kill potential into those off-lanes with whatever characters that back up. A Volatassadar are not in line with what I was just stating, so very much a slower approach. So I want to see if that's actually a case here now as we get the last picks from Octalysis.
I wonder if that will be a Johanna on the backside as we'll get a Cassia in response to try and burst through that potential Fend to come in to be the the Executioner. Johanna can walk, well, unless Johanna's picked up on the other side. Johanna does pair well with the Cassia. Johanna bonus damage, or Cassia bonus damage to blinded targets. So you have that available for you.
That Johanna Cassia, not only synergy, but it shuts down that Aria or that Vala a lot. They need, in this situation, I would suggest this is where another damage dealer comes out, but that would force Urel to be the primary warrior, and that's not something Freedom is very well known for. Where do we land? Blaze, double off lane as the warrior selection. The Blaze bunker will be able to better deal with the combustion. Unless. What, are you going to hit me with the Valkyrie? There's a lot of unlesses that I feel like there could be in this situation.
I think combustion might be the pick here.
Okay, I think that's fair. And personally, I feel like combustion's been really undervalued. Granted, bunker is insane and it made sense why it is. But combustion's actually really not that bad. It has a lot of high impact moments and a lot of these team fights. It just makes you a, how do I say this, a one-stop shop when it comes to jet propulsions. You in, and you're going to combust.
Kind of like an Uber rack.
Yeah.
It's like you're going in, see if you make it out.
Yeah.
But the combustion is the main thing. But this does rely on you get the follow-up, the Psy Storm, you keep them in the Psy Storm longer for Tassadar. You allow Lutano to track them down as a Vala. I'm just trying to highlight some of the good points here for this. We haven't seen combustion in a long time. I still go back to week 1 or 2 whenever Blaze came out. Cattle on this very battleground hit a 5-person combustion. It will never be topped again. Cattle made the best combustion play I've ever seen in HGC. The whole team basically exploded right after. And after that, everybody's like, what if we just use him in the off lane? And those days are, it's like a one and done.
Well, he's back. Will we get the combustion? We'll find out here. Build-wise, I don't know if we'll see any major deviation, even if he does go into the combustion. As everyone else sticking pretty standard when looking at those level 1s.
Ooh, what if you go combustion with Vala following up into a force wall?
Well, see, that's what I was going to say is, I think you brought up a really good point, right? Some deviation in talents I think is necessary in this composition from Freedom. But where do they get it? When I see that Blaze pickup, in my mind, I looked at that and it was like, you need somebody in the off lane, tanky, some initiation, but can provide the survivability that Blaze has compared to all the other roles. Because a lot of people can hold their own into the off lane and do damage. I think Malthael is a good example of that. So why Blaze over that? Wave clear, that could be part of the argument. But for me, it was like, okay, that's got to be sustained. But I don't think they can get away with that sustain as this game ends up moving on. So I like the combustion variants, but if I see the combustion as the way against that to make up for the damage, then I need the force wall to force the initiation and make sure I get value out of the attempted retreat there mid-combustion.
The whole thing for me is that I just feel like this is going to be a Goku Falling Sword Johanna game. Getting to that backline onto a white main.
Yeah.
Having Vala deal with that. We've seen it from Justin before. It's time for them to try it out their own. Prismat and team. We've seen in the past a Tassadar Vala with a support tri-lane. We're getting basically mirrored on the sidebox Octalysis.
Yeah, and one thing I think you can expect as well when looking at Octalysis' approach to this game is if Goku is going to go that Falling Sword, one of the biggest things you can do against a Vala composition, a hyper carry, double support Vala composition, is everybody tries to kill the Vala because she does the damage, but the weakest link in that chain is the Tassadar. His health pool is significantly lower, and he's never shielding himself. Notice how he kind of sits behind Lutano. That will continue throughout this game. If that Falling Sword lands there, force it a dimensional shift, and then anybody else, like a Lunar Flare, something, comes through, that's one dead task, and Vala suddenly just becomes another hero.
Camp picked up while Goku and Dreda doing their best to defend in this top lane. Tower almost down. Team Freedom always playing the long game here. We mentioned it on Tomb of the Spider Queen. I think it's more relevant for them. As Prismat walks right in, says hi to Yoda, and then gives him the fend. Lutano being tracked down. The blind comes out, allowing Prismat to do some bonus damage. Won't have the heal.
Lunar Flare.
The raw Lunar Flare.
Yeah, that should not be possible, especially considering the level 1 pickup there. Hot pursuit from Lutano, giving him a natural movement speed. Lutano cannot let that happen as this game moves on. And JHL, again, I know that sounds nitpicky, but we are qualifying for BlizzCon at this point. If this is not the team to be able to make it happen, I promise you there is a couple rosters like Dignitas, Gen G, I mean, Tempest. I can list a couple that will make sure that those type of things do end up hurting here. as we got 20 seconds out from the first shrine. Going to see the decision making a little bit far out there for Goku, maybe too far, as Bud's able to come in with a pop.
Yeah, they might have tracked him down if he didn't show, maybe get some damage over the wall. Goku will continue to clear as the gate nearly fallen. Nobody's made a play towards that camp, which says to me that Team Freedom might be ignoring that first shrine altogether. It seems unlikely that they're going to be able to stay here, but they do have Urel on point. Octalysis might just try and turn it themselves.
If they had Shrine Control singular advantage, I think I'd be very much on support for this. If you're going to go for offlane pressure, that's great as long as your single target who gets on the Shrine has enough individual clear to really be able to dominate. But Zul Blaze versus Urel Tyrande, or excuse me, Zul Tyrande versus Urel Blaze, that's a pretty near even matchup. Wave clear in favor of Freedom, but the skirmish capabilities pretty close still from Octalysis. So we'll see how it unfolds here. Is Johanna making her transition down to be able to help out? 13 skeletal defender advantage in favor of Freedom.
Freedom started out really well here. Sniping some of these. Goku trying to clear up, waiting to light that oil on fire. Does do that, will snipe one. But Octalysis is starting to fight back. Cassia going to be the last person to rotate down here. The stun comes in by Zugrug. Nasmus contemplating on going in. Will end up getting Bone Prison before he ever gets to jump out. We've got ourselves a contended Shrine, Dread.
25 to 20. Justin already using that level 1 armor there. Is Justin able to get the Zugrug jet propulsion out of that scroll of ceiling? 34 skeletal defenders here for Octalysis. Prismat, though, is on an island here as he gets slowed by that oil. Potions are going to be there. The healing coming through, and they end up keeping him alive. Two-man Lunar Flare there ends up connecting as the Punisher now alive. Nobody from Freedom can go down, otherwise they will leap into that Punisher, but Octalysis is falling low. The Punisher leap comes in. He's the real MVP here, the true support of Octalysis, keeping them alive.
Lutano was so close to getting a kill on any number of the heroes from Octalysis, but Octalysis stayed alive with the double support. Now the Punisher picked up. Zul will rotate out, try and get the follow-up. There's going to be the root behind that. The condemn in. Zugrug gets out, but not before some scary moments. But Team Freedom has done a very good job defending so far. But Zul starting to keep up in that double lane soaking as Octalysis will finish this wall here and walk away.
And after the first shrine, we got to be asking who ends up coming out on top there. There's a bit of a quarrel there between Lutano and Prismat. I was going to say the pressure in top was in favor of Freedom. Octalysis was the one who had to make the reasonable rotation, and they sent Goku down on that Johanna to answer, and then they were able to turn that around. While Freedom was in a win-win scenario on both avenues there. They demanded answers and ended up getting a victory down below. If I'm Octalysis, I just made this game what was we're about to lose almost a full level to we're debatably kind of still winning this game. So that was a huge play on their half.
Jet propulsion missed. Goku comes in. There's the root follow-up. The cleanse. That might have been a self-cleanse there. Zugrug trying to walk away, but Prismat comes in with the pin. That confirms kill number 1. See if we get the track out. Tassadar will sneak out the back door. Lutano being tracked down as the shield comes in. He's trying to exchange here, but the fin comes in again. The point I was going to make, I've never seen somebody be this aggressive with a Cassia fending left and right with the double support. Dreadnought, put me in there. I'll smash my E key.
Not only a double support, there's another part of the synergy that enables him to function in this manner. There's a reason Priz is comfortable with blind fending something, and that might be because the blinding light of Johanna can better prep him. All blinds help Johanna, not just her blinds. It's like the equivalent of Arthas's Frozen Tempest giving you Jaina Frostbolt procs. It is enabling a large portion of her kit where otherwise she wouldn't be able to do that.
The way that they've managed to control with the slows, the roots, just wait till we get martial law at 16. I mean, Prismat will feast all over that, but Lutano has been no slouch in any of this. He is willingly trading out, trying to exchange in a lot of these situations. They just don't have the damage behind it yet. Tassadar will help as we go forward. We're still waiting. Do we get combustion? We see Johanna sitting on that heroic. Will we get the falling sword in response? It's time to answer some questions.
Archon, not surprised to be able to see that. Still questionable of damage no matter what heroic we get there out of the Blaze. It's going to be Bunker. Still sticking to the standard here. We see Octalysis going to back out, look for their Shaman. With middle camp there and the Scout coming out from Draded with that Sentinel, going to put them in a position to maybe invade if they would like. They have a surprisingly good invade composition. Between Starfall and Lightning Ball alone and Skeletal Mages, that pretty much forces and end fights just with those 3 heroics for the most part.
No falling sword. Bless shield locked in by Goku on that Johanna. Camp will be picked up momentarily, timing these around the objective as both teams, they want to see who will flinch. Both of them will pick it up. Shrine 5 seconds away from getting underway.
Blazing Zul getting the offlane soak and pressure. As Octalysis time their camp as well as they can, as late as they can. Cassia still in the top lane here as the Shrine pick up. First couple defenders 4-1 in favor of Octalysis for now. Nobody going to be worried about those Shamans, so eventually Octalysis should win the upper hand there. Actually, I don't think the wave made it far enough out.
Justin, he was clearing that lane, but now he's joining the fight. There's the root. The ball lightning is out. It's bouncing around the bunker down, but that's going to sleep them for a moment. Now they come out directly into the Starfall. This is looking bad. The White Mane coming out trying to get the heals. Nasmus jumping into the back line. If they can kill him, that will be good for them, but Justin falls in that. It's a 2-for-1 trade so far. See if Lutano can make it more. Lutano trading out with Prismat here. In comes the Finn, and Prismat trying to survive. Does he get another in? He does not.
He doesn't, but they get the Lunar Flare onto Collusion, and now he's trying to retreat. Goku there with the body blocks, the tip of the scroll is sealing with the Condemn afterwards. Collusion has a matter of seconds, and Vala ends up dying there as well. Not sure what quite clipped her, but Octalysis B-step all over here, and rightly so after they have just a graveyard of freedom.
I have no idea how Vala died there. No idea. We'll take a second look at that probably maybe some other time, but that is Octalysis coming out. They lost one. They took down several others on the side of Team Freedom.
That's the only way that happens.
Oh, the snipe.
It had to have been a snipe.
The snipe.
Sorry, my brain was just, I was like, how did that happen? It has to be an owl.
Good call, Dread, good call. 13 picked up by Octalysis, only 12 here, and Justin and team pushing with that top camp. There's the nice dimensional shift, but that will not be available for quite some time, allowing Goku and team to move forward. Blessed Shield off cooldown if they want to try and rip a fight. Arcane Punisher, there it is, Dread.
Blessed Shield comes through, the Bone Prison afterwards gonna lock it down. Lunar Flare ends up landing, but for now she survives. Stay a while and listen as 5 members get into the bunker, and J-How, I'm going to bring this up every single time we watch that 5-man bunker happen. If a Starfall is happening afterwards, that is not a profitable trade for Team Freedom. They get dominated after that point, giving over the healing, giving over that damage, and now Octalysis, they might be able to get this keep.
Yeah, they're moving in. They're trying to get the wave clear. The Skeletal Warriors are down, trying to slow, create a space, and also do some damage in the meantime. Keep down to 30% and falling rapidly, and this should be Octalysis confirming keep number 1. 10 minutes into the game. Now they're seeing if they can track down Zugrug, just missing the jet propulsion. So we see Goku able to walk away with that iron skin.
Impalers available on the bottom half, but 13 just around the corner, so if Octalysis want to force the hand, now is the time to do it. Otherwise, Freedom will be all right being able to take those initiations, especially considering that the heroics in favor of Freedom. Still no 13. They will be able to sniff out the camp. Zugrug, will he jet propulsion in? He will. Iron Skin, where's that? Now we see Nasmus leap in, but look at Justin, completely split from the team. He actually survives there as we see another leap, lightning ball with the Scarlet Aegis. Scroll of Ceiling goes through. Goku's fine as Justin flanks on top of Freedom here. Damage coming through. The Condemn gets the first pick. That's Urel out of here. Freedom needs to retreat here if they're going to be able to hold their own. And they drop the blind. Zugrug drops a bunker, but it just delays the inevitable.
Justin coming back in. Lutano trying to vault away. Justin trying to get the root down in the backside. They've got Collusion locked down. Collusion, hands off keyboard moment. Another triple kill. Lutano just able to dodge that Lunar Flare, and just like that, Octalysis, what was an even game, turned into a 1-level lead, and Dreadnought, I look up at the top at the end of this, and it's about to be a 3-level lead. Octalysis hitting the gas pedal at the exact same mark, 3 games in a row.
Very well done by Octalysis as well to make sure that they use those blinds to limit Lutano. Did you notice a lot of the focus that from that team fight for Octalysis was actually to kill the targets on the objective? Normally, J-How, that costs you the game if you focus down those double warriors while Vala's just sitting there pew-pewing away as best you possibly can. But if you're doing that while you're cycling your blinds in the downtime, Lunar Flares were contributed to the Vala to make her second-guess herself. And that made her damage output so low that Octalysis, with the stat advantage and now more than just stats, was able to be dominant within that skirmish with the keep down through mid and bottom shrine being the next place to spawn. This could be a double impaler, or excuse me, double shaman stack on top.
Well, they're sniffing it out
into a keep force.
We've got a talent tier advantage, a 3-level lead. 3-level lead, I mean, talents be darned. I mean, a 3-level lead is enough to scare me. You add the talent tier in that, I'm like, I don't know which one's more impactful at this moment, but then I look up and I see, you know, armor reduction from Zul, martial law from Cassia. Oh, they're down to fight now. And that is the double.
They're going to back away, though, rather than supporting these camps.
Oh, they're trying to catch him. They're catching him in the flank position, Dred.
Oh,
they're coming in right now.
Huge. Oh, my gosh.
Goku's just keeping him in place.
Skeleton Mages is going to be mad value, J-How. They can't walk away from this. Here they are. Party's here. Time's up. Let's do this as the Unstoppable already used along with the bunker. Four members get in, but look at that Starfall afterwards. The Stay a While and Listen's going to be dropped. 3 are locked in there by that scroll of the ceiling, but the first to drop is Johanna. Freedom is turning around this fight and dominating here over Octalysis as they bite off more than they can chew. 16 talents here, who needs that?
Wow. Team Freedom says we are not done yet. As they do defend, they do have those camps that are pushing in the top lane. That will have to be dealt with, but right now their attention is turned towards this. So we have a momentary pause here, something not entirely unique to these teams.
Oh my goodness, the only way, that is beautiful. After winning the fight and gaining the momentum, now the pause here from Yoda. Whether it be justified or not, don't know the reasoning here yet. Not going to be able to get the chat and information, but that is, I love it here. Just calm.
3-level lead. 3-level lead. I can't see the numbers right there. But
it was
16-13. There's comeback experience. So when you get kills, when you're down a talent tier, or excuse me, when you're down levels, you get that bonus XP to come back. So that right there should be enough to vault it. We're getting back into the game. 15.5 to 17.5, trying to get to 16. Tassadar goes back to deal with that double shaman camp. Even the numbers advantage us here. That went through the entire wall there.
Yeah,
no 16 here, Dred.
And that's going to get a lot done because the minion wave spawn. Even though Tassadar is big, he doesn't have the double size storm and can't get rid of that for free. That's a lot of free damage onto that keep that is going to be painful here for Freedom, possibly as this game moves on. I mean,
yeah,
J-How, it's going to keep going. It has another dog wave. Watch, it spawns 4 instead of 2.
He needs 16 desperately.
I don't think he even stops this. I think it gets the keep.
Well, the minions are here.
He got it.
One shaman down. 16 picked up by Team Freedom. They'll wait to see if they can get Tassadar back. Will he save that?
Oh my gosh.
The keep went down. So that double play in the end ended up getting the keep. No 16. Maybe should have sent the Blaze back instead. But now this is giving Octalysis a chance to say, Team Freedom, look, 2 keeps are down. You've got to come do with this. You cannot deal with those catapults. So what this does, Dred, is that it enables those lanes to push out. So Team Freedom cannot go for the home run play. If they do, they risk giving up core damage. We'll see how Team Freedom responds.
They risk core damage even getting anything past this fort at this point. With how well prepped top and bottom are, J-How, this is a major risk. Freedom is all in here, and they're getting the damage for now onto Prismat as the blind comes out. Nazma's falling low, getting into the bunker. Prismat able to retreat as Lutano there slows everyone with that frost shot.
Zogrog looking for the jet propulsion. If he can get it, there's going to be the root, there's going to be the follow-up, that's going to be the kill. Perfectly timed there, perfectly executed by Team Freedom. See how long they stick here. Baited over, trying to get the damage onto this Punisher and keep onto their own keep as Octalysis. Those top and middle waves are starting to mount. Team Freedom, will they go for the play here? 5 versus 4. They jump in, Dred.
They get the scroll in. Oh my gosh, the setup there after the condemn. They one-shot Lutano, and that's all the damage. Zogrog is trying to keep himself alive, and he's doing so. A huge condemn pulling through, and Freedom is dominating over this skirmish. All the splash auto attacks there from Yoda. They wipe the floor with Octalysis and J-How. They're going to be able to end this game, but look at this. How many catapults is this? 15 minutes into the game?
4 catapults. We're going to see if they send anybody back. Blaze comes back. There's only 3 members on the core of Octalysis. Cassia, 10 seconds away. Team Freedom is on the core. The shields have fallen on the side of Team Freedom, but Zugrug should be able to defend. It's a matter of what Team Freedom can do versus Octalysis. We turn our attention here 30 seconds before anybody else. We do have the blinds. Nazmus, Yoda, and Collusion trying to end this. Here he goes. There's the damage. There's going to be the root. The jump in. Nazmus trying to survive. 80% and falling on the side of Octalysis.
Keeps lightning
right now. Prismat trying to keep this in defense, Dred.
He's trying to keep it alive there as he goes on a collusion with the lash. Nazmus hits the knockback there, 70% on the core. Still 10 seconds until anybody of Octalysis is able to join him. Another blind hits onto 2. That's going to limit the damage. I think Priz has held on long enough now. We have 4 seconds out until the Blessed Shield and the Skeletal Mages. No
Blaze
mages.
and Bala coming over there. They have the bunker.
They
have the blinds. Let's see. They have to kill somebody right here. Right now. They've got to get this locked down. 20% falling. They might have done it. Here comes Blaze. He's got the bunker. One goes down. Zuck comes down.
He can't do it.
They can't. They've got to take it down. He might get it. They do. Team Freedom has come back in this game and in this series. I have never seen an ending like that. Ever.
That was insane. Those last couple of seconds between the backdoor-ish of the core and better prepping that after the double shaman of top almost recovers it out, then being able to siege, and then sending the blaze of all things back. A Urel support, Tassadar, they couldn't do any damage to the core. Somehow a blind Cassia almost recovering. Oh my, but beyond all else, Jay, the fact that Freedom just held on to that game after we thought we had seen what was the end of their BlizzCon hopes.
16-13. At one point, Octalysis was up. Octalysis had a massive flank, which seemed to be the nail in the coffin in that bottom camp. And they survived. That bunker in the middle of that. We've got another look at this for you all, because this has to be seen again. Let's check this out, Dreadnought, because that's an ending unlike anything you'll ever see.
It is wild. It takes some time, but it has been a doozy. The biggest thing here is the lash into the jet propulsion setup. All right, first kill. That's nice, but that is not game by any means at this point.
Goku wore that over. Ancient Blessings was used to try and defend there, but it was Octalysis. They were close. The thing for me, and I want to take a deep look at this, they got the kill on Dvala, but watch Collusion on the bottom right of your screen. Nobody gets an interrupt here in a second, and Collusion just goes off, keeping everybody alive.
I mean, he just hit a 4-man lash mixed with double side storm Yoda wailing away on Archon on top of 3 people after that point. Felt good there. The big plays at the very end coming out from Prismat trying to save it.
I think Prismat might have been able to just not go in here. He wanted to stay alive off of that, but Collusion doing another phenomenal job of keeping that team alive. And this is when the chaos, the number one thing was, I'm looking up, Blaze has bunker on cooldown, it's time to go.
Yeah, but if he jet propulsions in this stay a while, I think they save this game. Like, I agree with you, but watch this. This almost cost him that game.
He's like, oh, I'll just park right over here.
If he's still sitting there, and then they just one-shot him before Yoda can get it in, get any free flamethrower damage, do you think they save that game? Because I think that might have been the difference. It was pixels defined, nanoseconds defined that end of that game.
The fact that Team Freedom bound themselves down 13-16, took one of the clutchest fights you'll ever have to take in your competitive career, turned it around. Then gave up that top keep to the double camp. And it's like, okay, we have Octalysis with a fort still standing and a keep. There's no way they can end unless you go for the big play. Go for the big play. And they did it, Dreadnought. They got the kill. The moment that we didn't capture right before that was you could see Prismat zigzagging on that Cassia because he's like, oh, man, Zuggerug's looking for this jet propulsion right outside of the gate. And then he zigzags so much, oil comes out. He puts it down right in front of that gate, says, if you're walking through here, you're going to be slowed. I'm either going to follow up, but Collusion was the one that made the play. Got that route into there, all set up by Zuggerug on the front line. Just great teamwork to really close out that game. And that right there, that one pick in the early part of that, I think was enough. And it's such a small, subtle play, but you're like, gosh dang, man, they pulled it off.
Yeah, it was very well done there by Freedom. And now, after games 1 and 2, as dominant as they were for Octalysis, and still a majority of that game, the miracle comeback and very well done by Freedom, but that beginning half was still dominance for the most part from Octalysis. And that was after we saw Freedom be willing to adjust whether or not they went with the first pick or the battleground pick. So now it's like, it's going to be interesting to see, you know, as Octalysis give any kind of information on what direction they want, whether they go with the battleground or not, because Infernal Shrines, that is home turf for Freedom. And that was one of the few left as Sky Temple taking away, no opportunity to just out macro and dance